going on? Straight Cheesin, the first episode. This is it.
We're here.
We finally brought it to life.
We made it.
Straight Cheesin made it out of the group chat. That's pretty sweet. So I'm Zach Malo. If you don't know, I'm a senior here at Liberty, and I'm here with my boy Walker.
What's up, guys? I'm also a senior at Liberty, and we are so ecstatic about this podcast that we've invented. So we started working on this podcast at the beginning of our class, and we've been doing like graphics and intro and everything to kind of build it up. All these ideas we've brainstormed, and Straight Cheesin. You may wonder, like, what does that mean? How did we get to that? And my guy Malo over here, he likes to always say that you're cheesing when you're smiling.
Cheesin, bro.
So like say cheese, you're smiling. And we thought, how can we incorporate that into like a podcast?
Pretty good.
And so we thought queso. Queso's the way that we can incorporate into that podcast. And we thought we would bring some guests on for our podcast. And let's talk a little bit about that, Malo. Who do we have here?
Well, here, if you don't know by the beautiful, beautiful face on that man, this is Mr. Smith, Mr. Mark Smith. He is, what are you?
Wrestling coach, art teacher, middle school art teacher, and a wrestling coach. Yeah.
Loved by all, everyone.
Been here 11 years.
Huh? 11 years at Liberty now.
Years.
And you didn't graduate here, right? You just...
I haven't graduated yet.
Okay, right. So we're still working through, right?
I am.
Okay, fair enough.
So I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I wasn't in the area, but I would have gone to school here, I'm sure.
Okay, right.
Not for long, but I would have been here for a while.
Dang.
Not for long. All right. At least he's honest, right?
Yeah, at least he's telling us the
So
truth.
there's rumors around that you were in the Olympics. Can you touch on that a little bit? Tell us a little bit about that.
That is a rumor.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I was in the Olympic trials in 1992 to go to Barcelona.
Okay.
Wow.
In wrestling.
Wow. Wrestling. That's really fun.
Yeah,
How old were you?
I was 20 when that came around, or when I started training. I trained out of the University of Villanova.
Okay, wow.
Foxcatcher Club. They made a movie. I don't know how.
So what is that? Foxcatcher Club?
It's a movie. Foxcatcher.
Oh, is that way before our time, huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was only probably released 10 years ago. Or so.
Okay.
Pull it up.
Watch that. Yeah.
Okay.
Google it. Look at it.
So it was about like.
It was a sponsor. A guy sponsored me, DuPont. And then I ended up going to a training center and got to get my art degree while training for the Olympics.
Sweet.
And
so that's how the art.
So that's how the art degree plays in, huh?
Yeah. I really wanted to go to school for fashion design or interior design. And then I got talked out of it because everybody said that
it was just not with the times, right? Yeah.
It really was not. So it ended up working out that I ended up
that's awesome.
following the graphic design.
Okay.
Wow.
And ended up training for the Olympics, placing second in the Olympic trials in 1992, and then that took me to Colorado Springs where the Olympics trained there.
So if you place second, you're in. That's it, right?
No,
or how does it work?
Number one.
You have to be the one
so
guy.
there's an East Coast trial and a West Coast trial.
Okay.
The first place from the East Coast, which was the side I was on in Pennsylvania, and then there's a West Coast. Yeah. And the first place, and then they go to the training center. They did an Olympic ladder back then.
Wow.
And then when I got to Colorado Springs, I had lost, so I had no choice other than to either continue training for another 4 years or maybe start a real life. And my degree was in art, so I started working for the marketing side of a tanning industry in Colorado. Denver, Colorado, downtown.
Does the Olympics only take like one person?
Yeah.
So
in
like
each weight class.
In each weight class. So like, okay. That's interesting.
So I wrestled 48 kilos, 105 pounds is what it was.
Okay.
So 21 years old, weighing 105 pounds.
Wow, interesting. Gosh.
Trained a lot. It was my identity. I mean, it's what I thought I was. I thought I did. And then once I lost, I had to try to figure out what to do.
Like what's
So that was like so surreal for you to wake up one day and be like, my dream is...
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes with that. I mean, so finding the Lord came later, but I think I went wheels off and was just like, I'm going to do. I never really partied in high school or anything because I was training for the Olympics. So I wasn't a kid that was going to be I'd go to the parties and just wasn't partaking in anything. I'd act like I was, so I was cool. I'd carry around a
little facade here that you had.
Yeah, really interesting. Can you talk about so you were obviously training with for the Olympics throughout high school and college, correct?
Yeah. So as I moved through, so you do different levels. So I just happened to be, I was too small to play football. My brother's a college football coach, and my father was a football coach, and it just wasn't in the cards at middle school age because I'm the same size as what I was in middle school.
Wow.
So I never proceeded on playing football, which I love football, and then I just continued to wrestle at middle school all the way up. And then as I progressed, really I started wrestling mostly because as a defense mechanism, that way nobody would mess with me. I
you're smaller.
Yeah, it's like smaller. And it just got to be where it was obvious that I was a wrestler and everybody knew.
It's your passion.
It just
Loved
never,
it. That's awesome.
So with wrestling being such like a big part of your high school career, like what sparked your interest in art? You know, like
so the
so the transition there is what I think
the
we're asking.
downtime is what it was. So like in my free time, I just found peace. I wasn't a very good reader. I'm dyslexic, so I couldn't.
Me too.
I
Welcome to the
read.
club,
Hey,
baby.
There you go.
There it is.
So it was kind of just I wasn't a school kid. I'd stir up trouble just because I'd be, trying to show off because I was the little guy, so I wanted to be cool, and really just tried to draw attention to myself because I thought I was funny. So it would end up. And not being able to read, everybody thought I was lazy when really it wasn't I was lazy. I just couldn't read, and they didn't diagnose you as dyslexic or anything. But then in my downtime, I'd love to just sit around and draw. And then there was a teacher, Donald Snyder, that was my art teacher, and he noticed that I really enjoyed it, and he kind of was the one that kind of helped me grow and develop, and spent a lot of time with me in the art room because as I was growing in wrestling and further in my future in wrestling, I needed something else that I could take my focus off of wrestling. Yeah. And then art was kind of where it fell in.
It was a beautiful place to blow off steam, and it just
relaxing for you.
Grew to something more, and it was able to be almost like that comfort blanket to you that you could even fall back on when wrestling didn't work out the way.
And like even here at Liberty, you found like the perfect spot for you because you can do best
got
of
your
both
own little
worlds.
pad out there, huh?
Exactly.
The great story for that is there was a board member, Bob Kimball, that was on board here at Liberty 11 years ago, and I was at a wrestling tournament coaching some kids, and he just liked my demeanor and the way I handled myself, and he comes up and is talking and I shared my story and my faith, and he was like, I'd love for you to have an opportunity to come interview at Liberty Christian. And I was like,
and he's a board member still, or did he?
No, he's no longer a board member here. But I ended up coming up to interview, and I met with Rodney or Dr. Hare, and it was I was more interested in coming here for my son Skylar, who would be a fifth grader then.
Oh, wow.
He graduated from here a few years ago, but I was more interested in being here with him. And I thought it'd be we'd go to church, but I wanted a better footing for him. I wanted somebody else pouring into him rather than me waking up, going to church and being,
the whole thing. I understand.
So I was here purposely for him. And about 3 months into the job, I realized we're not going anywhere because the staff and everybody here were pouring into me, and I felt like it was more of a church for me, almost a church family. And it grew my faith and made me a better husband, a better father, and probably just a better person overall by being here at Liberty. So that kind of worked in a way in which I would have never thought. But to get the job as an art teacher here, when I met with Dr. Hare, there was no positions available that he was aware of, but he was really interested in having me come as a wrestling coach, be a part-time coach. And I was working in Keller ISD at the time with behavior students. I was a behavior specialist there. And I just would go from unit to unit, like classroom or school, wherever there were kids. Really, they just wanted somebody to love on the kids and be good with the kids. And I had a personality that would. So
that's awesome.
It kind of worked out. And then when I got here, I just happened to be pulling out of here thinking, oh, Lord, please let me have a job there. I would love to have. And then after reviewing my resume, Rodney calls me back and said, hey, do you think you'd be interested in an art teacher position? I see you got an art degree. And there happened to be a middle school art position available. Or how he made it open up, I don't know. But
that's crazy.
My two passions, things we're really passionate about.
Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
freaking awesome.
Really
that's
awesome.
perfect. You fit right in.
That's perfect.
That's a piece of the
fit.
puzzle right there for you.
Wow. Yeah, so
gosh, was it different for you as a kid? Like wrestling back then, was it so different than it is now, or is it like in going to school? Was it because you were one of the few adults that gets to experience school in two different forms? You get to experience it as a kid when you're younger, and now as a teacher. And is it just so different?
No, I don't. You know what really is crazy is like some of the issues that we have and we discuss and go over and things that are maybe in a public school that are not in a Christian school. I think a lot of those things are what happened in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, dress codes and everything.
Right.
Hippies were real loose,
Yeah.
and everything was kind of. So a lot of those things, the issues that we're confronted with now, I think they've been ongoing, and it could be a situation where it's just cycles. It's a cycle, and I don't know that it's really a lot different. Right. But like I said, I was not a school kid, and I see kids. Most of the kids that I really connect with are kids maybe that are not in a normal classroom setting. They're just not excelling. They just want somebody around them, and then if they feel a relationship with you, it helps them grow. And that's really what I was looking for. My wrestling coach was a great relational person. I still contact him when I go home.
Wow.
I still go visit him. My art teacher who passed away was a very impactful person throughout my, it fell all the way into college, So anyway, there's a lot of things that are very similar.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of times, and they cycle almost around. Your
That's
haircut.
awesome.
very
Oh, hey,
similar.
now. Right? Yeah. Come on now.
Don't attack the hair.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, seriously, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing a little
Yeah.
bit about you and your
Awesome.
story and everything. This was awesome. This has
Yeah.
been the first episode of Straight Cheesin', everybody. I mean,
that's
good stuff.
Straight
I
Cheesin'.
guess that's a
amazing.
wrap, huh?
Can we high five? Or?
I mean,
we
yeah,
can high five.
I guess we
We
can
can
high
high
five.
five. That's
Now
Heck
on
yeah.
some cheese.
All right, now I think we have to all ceremonially do a dink and dunk.
a dink and
Dink and
dunk,
dunk.
baby.
Oh,
Dink and dunk.
So get you some cheese.
Oh,
Hey, cheers, everybody, for the
Cheers.
first episode.
Cheers.
so there's
Cheers to a great podcast.